Okay. So, good morning again. So, in this session, Ankit has very kindly and graciously agreed. If he did not agree, I would have forced him anyways. So, to tell the strategy. Now, the strategy largely will be he will be dealing with how to balance both and how to maximize the time that is there from now till I think November 30th when the exam is. So basically, he's going to give you how to prioritize UPSC while maximizing your chances in the EPFO exam, and whenever it is held, and on that day you perform to your best possible extent. So over to you, Ankit. Take over, and there are some doubts which online students have also asked. Once these people are done with their doubts and queries, I'll forward them to you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. First, I might have some internet issues, so feel free to tell sir, and then I'll try to reconnect if there is some issue. Firstly, my strategy that basically revolves around EPFO is to keep the CSE in priority. I hope everyone has that they are giving the next year's attempt, and that is where my strategy will revolve around because EPFO is an option, and this year I feel there are lesser number of seats compared to last time. So competition will be a little more tougher, and there is slight change in the pattern how it used to be. So I'll deal with all that in a couple of minutes, and I'll share my screen as well. Just a minute. Okay. Okay. Is my screen visible now?
Yes, Ankit.
Yes. So there is one change that I want to highlight in the start. One is the how the paper pattern is there. Earlier, so there are two particular positions. One is APFC, that is Assistant Provident Fund Commissioner, and second is Enforcement Officer or Account Officer. So earlier there used to be two different papers for both these sets. So APFC, it is a level 10 job, that is 5400 grade pay, and EOAO is 4800, that is level 8 job. Basically, you get promoted to APFC after 5 or 6 years at least in the EOAO. That is where whole idea is there that there were because there are two different levels, there used to be two different exams. Now I don't know why, but UPSC has changed it and they have converted it to single exam. What it means to many of you will be that CSE people will have a slight edge in it. Why I say so is EPFO EOAO. How it used to be earlier that paper was more relatively easier, there were more direct questions in the level 8 exam, and many people from SSC and all those backgrounds will straight away jump in and try to fetch as much X marks they can and try to clear it. Now it will be more level playing field for you, and like you will get a fair chance because you will have a greater share in EOA as well, which is relatively more seats. So that is where there is a one change, and then I'll straight away jump to syllabus. So syllabus is general English. It will be slightly tougher compared to your CAPF or something, but it won't be very tough. So you might need to, have a basic understanding. They focus on vocabulary or, synonyms, antonyms, or reading comprehension. They might ask, or even, sentences. There are errors in the sentence. All these things are asked in the exam. You can refer to PYQs of EPFO. APFC, I'll say, because again, there is single exam. So EOAO paper becomes slightly less relevant, and APFC becomes a priority when you look at the PYQs. That is where I'll say that how you need to deal with English. For second part is Indian culture, heritage, and freedom movement. Again, it is more showing, making you towards a means-oriented syllabus. If you ask me, that art and culture you have to study right from the ancient history, but you might need to give more focus on the independence movement, especially after 1800 or 1850. So that is where I want to highlight that you might not need that much of time towards ancient and medieval history. There might be one or two questions, but these questions will primarily from the culture side. Next is developmental issues and Indian economy. Very simple how you prepare for prelims. Economy, it is the same topic, nothing is different. Governance and constitution of India, it is polity itself, but you prepare for, your prelims but there will be some schemes that can be asked, and I'll come to those schemes in the end, towards the end of it. We'll discuss that as well. General science and basic knowledge of computer. Computer, there are questions. I'll show you the distribution in between as well. I'm just trying to take you through how the syllabus is there. So general science, you might need to cover some basics of NCRTs. You might take some summary books. What I felt can be used is this only IS, general science book. It is smaller one. You don't need to mug up everything. And again, it is prelims exam. You just need to tick. So you can read that book. It's 70, 80 pages. You can go through it a couple of times. Look for the prelims one version. Like they have multiple books. I don't know the name of the book, but there was one. Then you come to the elementary mathematics, statistics, and general mental ability. It is the easiest part. I feel you should practice a bit, and those 15, 20 questions, whatever are there, you should just go after them. Like these are your go-to questions where you would want to do that. Next is okay. From after it, we see okay, there's something different. It is not an as easy syllabus, and many of you people will panic around industrial relation, labor law, social security. How will we deal with all that? And then principles of accountancy. I am an engineer. I don't know a word about accountancy and auditing. We'll discuss how to handle that. First, I'll take you through the PYQ zones. So PYQ is English. There will be 20 questions. So it is broadly same for EOAO. Okay, there won't be much difference. You can do it. Sorry. General English 20 questions. You need to prepare that. Again, quant. I say 15 questions are bonus for you if you practice well. No need to go to those high-end SSC level tricks and all. Basics, if you do properly, you do some PYQs properly, thoroughly, you can go through CAPF, CDS papers. CDS will be little more because they ask some geometry and all that, so you might skip those topics. No need to go after that much, but there will be some questions around geometry as well. So CDS is a good platform if you want to get all the 15 correct, but if you are able to complete 12 to 13 questions as well, you are good to go according to me. Accountancy is 15 questions, and then industrial relations and labor law, 15, 15, 30 questions out of total 120 questions. So yes, it is an important part, but it is not the only part you will want to have it. So for that, why I say that, because you cannot cram each and everything from industrial relations or labor law. There are 4 social security codes. There are some major laws like Factories Act or Child Labor Act or Maternity Benefit Act. So these are some major laws. Look for any source. Now this year you will find sources are floating everywhere. If you want, I'll figure out one particular source where you might use it, which I feel good. But I'll say it completely depends on you for labor law. You cannot remember each and everything, and they don't even ask they don't ask particular sections as such. They might ask 1 or 2 questions, but it is broad understanding how you get to it. And why I'm saying so, because they'll ask some questions specific to EPFO as well. There will be certain schemes and certain provisions with respect to EPFO. So EPFO Act you should know. Like you might read the Pair Act as well if you want. But if you have certain notes around it, just refer to that. Those 15 questions are easily, one can deal with it. Now comes to accountancy. You cannot solve all the 15 questions. I'm saying it because UPSC has a habit. There is no way they are going to give you that they are giving you a level 10 position and all the 15 questions you can hit out of the park. So for that, just know the basics. Basics of accountancy. There is no need to go through 200 hours or 100 hours of lectures for accountancy. If you can do the basics properly, you should know what is the basic auditing terms, all those things. You should be good with it. You don't have to worry too much. I did not understood. It is simple arithmetics, just coupled with certain keywords. You should know those keywords, and you should be able to fit those keywords. And some questions. So what I have a trick is, because I did not study accountancy properly because I did not have time. Prelims just got over, and then within a month we had the exam. So my focus was on labor law and accountancy. I just went through the basic keywords. And what I used to do is I look at the PYQs and I found out that in certain questions, if you look at the numerical values they are given and the answer, I used to determine that what is the most likely answer. This is an last method that, okay, I have to attempt this question. It is a question where I know something, I know some keywords, and I can figure out a way to get to one of the options that is given. It might go wrong. It is a trick that is very subjective. you can take your risk there. But I'm explicitly saying that you do not need to know everything in those 30 questions. Even if you're able to do more than 20 questions, that too by basic understanding of labor laws, industrial relation, and EPFO, and basic terms of accountancy, one can do 20 questions. Go through any year's PYQs and you will realize it. In EOAO, you will realize it for sure that you can solve most of the questions even now, because they are giving very simple provisions, 26 weeks maternity benefit act, and what are the changes, how many children. That is the same thing you're going to learn now as well. Might be a little more details, but you do not need to give those 200 300 hours. That is what I personally feel, because there is no point on watching for 30 questions. 10 15 you can solve even now, at least 10. You just need to do 10 or 15 questions at max. So don't run after it. Don't make it a FOMO, because what I've seen this year is every coaching is starting a EPFO foundation course, and then becomes an issue, because that if you give that much of time, your CSE takes a back seat. I know it's a good backup option, but you should also know that how many seats are there to take, and on that, how many people are fighting. So have that in mind, and we move on. Computer applications. I did not study it. I'm saying this because I had a computer background. I worked in software development and all that, so I did not look at it. But again, you can take simple Lucent book or any book for computer application, because they are asking very simple questions. And if they're asking some very random questions, even I will not be able to do, and I'm saying it in front of you, because again, 10, 11 questions, you might think, okay, I need to do all 10 correct. The cutoff was 50% last time. It might go maximum to 60%. It won't get even above 1 marks. So if you are able to solve, and again, I'll come back how I attempt the paper for prelims, that we'll discuss after it. So again, history and culture, there are 10 questions. General science, there are 10 questions. Polity, well, why there is polity 5 to 9 is many questions are from current affairs or schemes. Same goes with the Indian economy. It is very surprising that I did not find any questions on Indian economy, a proper question on Indian economy. A lot of people will say there are questions when they were from current affairs or social security. Well, some people might call it Indian economy, but I call it more of a current affair oriented. So basic understanding what is happening around the labor issues. For example, if I have to ask how many EPFO accounts, like this is a question that you might not expect in CSE, but this is a question you might expect in EPFO kind of paper, that EPFO has doubled the number of employees or the number of you know account holders under EPF and all those things. So you might have to go through those facts again. You don't need to go after all the current affairs. You can look for any source which is covering social security, labor law related new news, and that is it. Current affairs, they might ask about the UNESCO sites or anything that we prepare for CSE. What I'll say is you can do as one source for current affairs is take the PD 365 to that May we are done there, like April we are done there, and you can take the summary or some monthly magazine and do it till October. So older current affairs are compiled in a particular way, and then last 5 6. Why I'm saying these are good is because many people don't have habit of reading newspaper, or many people rely on PD 365 even for prelims. And I'm one of those that who read the newspaper, but I still look at the PT because that sort of summarizes what I'm doing. So there, to make it clear for few people who might say I don't read newspaper or I'm not aware, you just go through the PD 365 and just a monthly magazines thereafter. No need to go even for the October completely. If you feel like I don't want to do October, just read the newspaper thoroughly. So you have an idea there. Broadly, this was a distribution and basic strategy that what you need to do. Uh, well, how to attend the paper, that is one thing I wanted to discuss with. So there are two kind of people. One who go after accuracy, and there is one other category where people think that okay, let's not go after accuracy because it is hard to achieve, and we'll go for more number of attempts, more number of questions we attempt in the paper. I fall in the second category for prelims kind of a paper, or like EPF or all those papers. Why I feel so? Because I have a some people have bigger risk appetite. I agree with that. The second reason why I feel is because you have a chance of you narrow down the questions. In many questions, UPSC gives at least two options which are completely wrong, or you might get a sense, okay, these values doesn't make any sense, or these options doesn't make any sense. That is why, and even with a basic understanding, for example, English, you would not want to leave any question until unless they ask you some very random question. So 18, 19 question we can expect there. Quant I have talked about 14, 15 question, or at least 12 questions you should be able to do correctly. Accountancy, industrial relation, we have discussed 25 questions there. Computer application, I expect 8 questions you are doing, 80% questions you are attempting there. History, culture, general science, Indian polity, security, all these 50 questions are, 50, 60 questions. I expect you do most of them at even 80% or 95% attempt. If you want, you can go to that, because these are the questions where your core competency kicks in. You are, you take it as a CSE mock, but a more serious one, which might give you a job. Why I'm saying so? Because these are the topics you should be fluent with. And that is why when Paris sir introduced, it was about how do we manage EPFO with CSE. We do not substitute CSE with EPFO or something. We do not make it as a second option. EPFO is a second option. We deal it that way only. So those 50, 60 questions, I personally feel one should go after them. I personally went after them, and that is how I cleared with, whatever time I had, limited time I had, or how much I needed to do. Because prelims part was more or less prepared. I know 2023 prelims was tough, so many people would have questioned their abilities, but some people will find it difficult. But you don't need to question yourself. All you need to do is, you can take a small break. You have already taken. 4 people have given mains, or some people who unfortunately could not clear prelims, they might have taken some break and now they are starting with CSE. So that is how you can, these 50, 60 questions becomes easy for you. And those analytical skills or going through CSE BYQs as well will help you there. So the mixed bag is there, that you can give this accountancy, industrial relation, labor law, because you have almost 80 days from now. So even if you give 3 hours a day for these two topics, that is more than sufficient. And then rest of is your GS, which I feel you should give whatever time you want to give and how much you feel right. So these are the ways, and I've told you how to. Some people might go for accuracy. You please go after it, but then also I'll recommend for CSE part of questions, you come after it. Next is, what is my trick to do? How I do? Well, uh, having said everything, this is my answer. Uh, yeah, it is very important that you trust in you. You just have to believe that I'm able to do, and there is no separate thing you need to think about EPFO. You might feel, okay, how do I do it, how do I manage it? It's okay if you have some issues, that EPFO is important and all those, but what my personal recommendation is, you focus on CSE, and there is no technique. Some might disagree with some of things I say. That is okay. You have your own path. You can use it the way you want. So that was broad presentation. I did not wanted to keep it monotonous. Sir, you can ask people to ask their questions, and they can ask their doubts. And regarding EPFO, of course, that will help.
Yes, guys. Any doubts with respect to whatever he has told? The first thing is very simple, that it has to be the priority of how to do one exam after the other. And next thing with respect to, I'll first ask some of the online students have asked some doubts. Okay, I'm going to ask that, and then you guys can chip in. Sources for subjects like labor laws, social security, and accounts.
Well, there are a lot of this year. When I had, there were only one civils daily, I guess, or not civils daily. There is a small coaching in Chandigarh, something related to civils, so that name only. I'll confirm it in some time. But this year, as I said in during the presentation, sources are unlimited. Every single coaching you, even if you look at your Telegram, every day there is one coaching that is promoting their EPFO course. You take whatever suits. Some people like comprehensive notes, reading some comprehensive notes. Some people like me needs small keywords because I cannot read that much of bulky books. So it is completely dependent on you how you want to do it. You take any source. If you want, I'll look for my source and I'll share it. But Again, I cannot guarantee because that is 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and I have to look for it properly. So if you want, I'll search for it, but you can take any source. There is no fixed source for EPFO. And again, labor laws are same, government document है. So you might not need that कि भाई मैं अलग से बैठ के and some people coaching will give you new content. Everyone has same content. It is how they have presented it. So it's up to you how you take it.
Now, should we go for a coaching?
No, I discussed it in the. Uh,
I uh, I think if anybody is prepared for civil services, adequately prepared for civil services, I think going to coaching should not be the uh, even should not be even on your mind, because you're already prepared, and this exam is more of a low hanging fruit than civils. So if you have taken foundation course or adequately prepared, if you're appeared for mains, then definitely you don't have to go for coaching. But even if your prelims preparation is done adequately, I think that should be sufficient. And I think this part is covered. This part, current affairs, so again, it has already been covered. Most of it is how to deal with current affairs and where to prepare from it. Can you just give? I know you have covered it, but just like one more thing.
so current affairs, because they are not asking too much of questions in current affairs. I showed you 6 questions on social security, 8 questions on current affairs. And I don't expect that UPSC will ask more than 15 questions out of 120 in current affairs. You need to do your prelims because many people will have given prelims this year, and those who might not have taken some break, you can take PD 365. You cover till April 2025. After that, you have to do 6 months of monthly maxing. Any coaching, there is no personal bias against any coaching because everyone has same content. They all are doing the same content. It is just paraphrased. And I'm being little honest there because you might say which coaching I should take. PD 365, why I like is it is more compiled and it covers almost 1 year. After that, you are doing monthly, you might be following some coaching. You take any particular coaching you like and just finish that. More focus on facts, more focus on data because on these exams, UPSC is more concerned about data. Although some people have certain tricks in CSE about data, don't apply that in EPFO. That might backfire because these are the papers that are set more for not non-CSE kind of exam. So if you look at CDS or CAPF, there also these tricks might falter. I'm saying it because sometimes we tend to take the exam in a single direction that okay UPSC paper bana raha hai, so there are certain notions that are there in the market. You might not have to go after it. You might look for your own ways. थोड़ा fine tune कर लेना. That is the keyword there. You might look at the PYQs and get it there.
So you're saying that brings us to the next question. The elimination tricks have to be applied with caution here, right?
Yes.
Can be used, can be used, but you have to use your common sense. Ki, matlab, are you over applying the trick, or are you just using it recklessly? So yeah, so remember that, elimination tricks.
So I'll try to give an example here
Yeah,
because
yeah.
in CSE there will be single statement. Why I'm taking this data because I think this was some PYQ somewhere. This Maternity Benefit Act. If this comes in CSE, it will be a statement, and they'll replace 26 weeks as some 20 weeks or 24 weeks or 22 weeks, and that might go wrong. Here the question will be how many weeks are there? There will be four options. So you might not go after that trick because that won't apply. You have to be very definitive here. That is why I said a little more focus on facts and caution with elimination technique. And because it's a combined exam, EO, so it will be difficult to segregate what kind of questions that are coming. So be very particular about tricks. Don't go after key. I know how to apply tricks and I'll be able to apply. You need to be a little cautious. Practice them once before going there.
All right. Here, people who are there, one more is balancing between civils and EPFO, but I think that is pretty much he has covered that. Okay. Anybody from here want to ask any doubts? Kindly unmute yourself and ask, or type it out here in the chat box. Otherwise, we are done with this session. Okay. Looks like no further doubts. So, guys, remember, you are all preparing for civil services examination. EPFO can be an added bonus. But one thing which Ankit can also agree here is, once you clear this exam, it gives you little bit of confidence, right? And that confidence can reduce little bit of stress for your civil service examination, right? Ankit got his results in February. Ankit,
January 2nd.
okay,
EPFO.
right, and just a month before that, he had got his civils cum mains result, where he had cleared civils. So nerves, I know it was still stressful for him and all that was there, but having a backup will give you that sense of comfort ki, ha, worst case, chalo, it's sorted. And no matter what happens, oh, EPFO is there for me. So think of it as that. This is just a path. Okay, this is just a means. It's not an end. Your end is your civil service examination, and keep it at that. Okay, so don't for whatsoever reason, okay, compromise your primary goal. And yes, if you clear this, it's an added bonus. All right. Thank you, Ankit, and thank you others for joining me. All right, and wish you guys all the very best. And anyways, I'm going to see you at 5 p.m. today in the evening. All right, take care, guys. I'll end the recording and end the session. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.